Next one. My question is about deliberate creation. You have an analogy that you reference about the buoyant cork, where I can hold it down with resistance, but if I release the cork, it will float up to the surface. It's one of our favorite analogies. When you let go of the cork, it will do its natural thing. It will bob to the surface, to the higher energies in our analogy of those higher, better feeling emotions. Back to the reading. I've experienced how not offering resistant thought through meditation and ease brings about positive results. But as I begin to offer the narrative of being the deliberate creator of my own reality, that activates resistance within me. It's like now that I have enough experience being the peaceful observer, now I want to be more consciously involved while utilizing the leverage of alignment. That desire to be more consciously involved activates resistance within me and knocks me off balance. We really appreciate your words. We really appreciate your awareness. We really appreciate the accuracy of how you've described yourself. And now we want to explain to you why it is that way. With most humans who are focused with other humans and who have calibrated mostly to other humans, there is a flawed premise, better said, a lack of understanding on your part that we talk about all day, every day. But still, sometimes you do not hear it. And so we're going to speak it more clearly today than we have ever spoken it, because we want you to understand this important thing. The law of attraction is real. You offer a vibration, and that is your point of attraction. You have an inner being who remained non-physically focused while you focused into this body. That non-physical part of you holds no resistance, is always buoyant. That part of you is dominant. Your gravitating toward that part of you is the most natural thing in all of your world. In fact, it is the only thing that really matters to you to understand. It matters more that you understand buoyancy to higher frequencies is your nature. That matters more to you than even understanding gravity and how that affects you in your physical time and space. The consistency of gravity and the consistency of your natural buoyancy would be good parallels for you to hold in your mind. It's a real thing. So you go on, and we're going to read it here because the next part that you say, such good words and such a good question, and it's going to give us the opportunity to give you so much more clarity than ever before. You go on, in my mind, to be deliberate about letting my cork float means I have to do something to push it up. That's the biggest flawed premise that ever existed in all of the universe. And you are not the only one. In fact, you are among the most who hear us and still believe that. You do not believe in your natural goodness, in your natural wellness, in the natural well-beingness. And so you keep thinking that you've got to prove it, that you've got to push it, that you've got to do something in order to deserve it. That would be like saying to a new person just arriving, if you don't focus, you'll float off the planet. And of course that isn't true. Gravity is going to keep them in perfect proximity to their time and space, just like it does you. They don't have to try hard. They don't have to cling. They don't have to do something unnatural. They just have to be here. And the natural gravity of time and space responds to them like it responds to everything and everyone else. You are pure positive energy. You are good. You are worthy. You are buoyant. It's the law that we're wanting to call your attention to with this conversation. More than your relationship to it and more than your behavior within it. You're being called with a force, we can't even put the words to it, more powerful than the gravity of your planet. You are and always will be called upward. You don't have to make that happen. You just have to stop clinging to the thoughts and the attitudes and the beliefs that don't allow you to be the buoyant being that you are. We'll read further because you stirred the entire non-physical universe up with this powerful question. Can you feel it? Because you got right to the heart of what is so crippling to so many humans. We'll read about halfway down again. In my mind, to be deliberate about letting my cork float means I have to do something to push it up. It's not about doing something. It's about no longer doing that thing. That I have some sort of meaningful interaction with the cork to aid in its rising. Like you need to make the laws of the universe work. The laws of the universe work. You just have to understand them and be within their naturalness. And the thing is, you go on to say, I have a strong desire to be confident and actively involved in managing and raising my vibration. Let's talk about that. Why do you have a strong desire to be confident and actively involved? What is it you're proving? What are you trying to prove? What has someone told you that you need to do differently? Why do you need to prove your goodness? Why do you have to prove your buoyancy? Because it's been trained out of you by bottom half of the scalers. So I'm wondering if you can talk about how I can more easily or effectively figure out how to step into an understanding and apply how to think more. We want you to think thoughts because of the pleasure and the clarity and the interest that you find in them. Not thoughts of needing to prove yourself. Not thoughts of needing to push something. Can you feel what we're getting at? Your final statement to us in this: I'm looking to be more involved in the joyous, passionate evolution of my desires. All right, hear this. You are involved in the joyous, passionate evolution of your desires as you're sifting through life, as you are weighing the pros and the cons, as you are evaluating, as you are knowing what you don't want and what you do want. That's how you are involved in the creation of the vortex, in the creation of that high-flying, high-frequency state of being where most of you dwells and where that most of you is calling the rest of you to it. We know it's a lot to hear. You've been calibrating to humans. You've been calibrating to humans who've been warning you, who've been guarded about this and guarded about that, who've been not believing in their own worthiness, who've been looking for rules and laws so that they could find some way to get to some place that they don't believe that they are worthy of being, and then they lay that all on you. And we're here to help you to find the relief, to let go of these resistant thoughts that bind you and suck the feeling of freedom from your being, because they are not real. They're just rampant around you, as there are so many people who have forgotten who they really are, who then are running around trying to guide you with their meanness, with their guardedness, with their threats, and with their hollow promises. You just can't get there from there. You got to believe in your goodness, which means you have to forget about what you've learned about not being good, which means you got to quiet your mind when those thoughts come forward until they don't come forward so often or at all. You have to remember the goodness of yourself, the perfection of yourself, the eternal nature of yourself, the reason of being here in this body. You didn't come to fix a broken world. It isn't broken. And you didn't come to shout someone into submission. You came as the loving being that you are, really wanting to have some experience on life, to carve out more things with more specifics that are pleasing to you. You came for the happily ever after of all of this. You came for the interest of it. None of you came for punishment or to make up for something. Not one of you.